Rio Rancho, New Mexico is a young city. Its first housing was completed in 1963 and it was incorporated as a city in 1981. Since then, Rio Rancho has seen tremendous growth. In the past 30 years, Rio Rancho has grown to become the third largest community in the state, with strong schools and job opportunities. It has been named one of the best places to raise a family. Now, however, because of recent changes to eminent domain use and its removal from the Metropolitan Redevelopment Act, or MRA, Rio Rancho's future will be very different than its past. Over the next few minutes, you'll see why the city of Rio Rancho needs the recent eminent domain changes modified. That is the only way the city will be able to do master planning that provides for appropriate infill development, paved streets, drainage, sidewalks, water and sewer services, and that maximizes public safety. Rio Rancho Estates, now the city of Rio Rancho, began in the 1960s when AmRep, a large developer, purchased thousands of acres and began selling lots. Platting took place with a predetermined grid used to divide lots, which didn't always take into account the hills, arroyos, and other natural features of the land. It's estimated that in just the first 15 years after AmRep subdivided its 92,000 acres, 77,000 lots were sold to 45,000 people from at least 35 states. Across the city, all the large tract parcels have now been developed into well-planned subdivisions, accounting for about 20% of the city's landmass. However, today, very few parcels larger than just a few acres remain, as represented here in green. Currently in Rio Rancho, there are more than 20,000 half-acre lots, represented here in teal, but they are owned by thousands of individuals from around the world. That puts the city at a unique crossroad in the state of New Mexico. Vast areas of open land remain, but those lots have no basic infrastructure, such as paved streets, sidewalks, or city water or sewer service. The lots are an example of obsolete and impractical platting and scattered ownership. Currently, eminent domain can only be used when it is proven that a threat endangers the health, safety, and welfare of persons due to erosion, flooding, and inadequate drainage. Among the thousands of undeveloped acres in Rio Rancho, some individual lots, such as those in arroyos, might still qualify under current eminent domain provisions. However, the city will be unable to master plan infill developments in order to correct that legacy of impractical platting, a legacy that other New Mexico communities do not have. If legislative changes are not enacted, the future growth in Rio Rancho will be either very small and disconnected developments or individual homes constructed without proper infrastructure, such as paved streets, sidewalks, city water or sewer service. These homes will also mean more septic systems and thousands of new private wells drilled into the aquifer. Small disconnected developments will continue to be built, but private developers who accumulate property may have to leave empty lots in the center of an area from a non-participating landowner. Public safety concerns increase as areas with obsolete and impractical platting continue to develop. In addition to continuing to stretch resources to serve a community spread out over more than 100 square miles, with miles and miles of open space in between existing development, the building of homes along these dirt roads and hilly terrain creates a serious concern for the access of emergency services. During the floods of 2006, one area of Rio Rancho where thousands of individual homes are built on unimproved lots along dirt roads, millions of dollars in flood damage occurred to public and private property. Some homes were inaccessible, emergency vehicle access was limited, and exposed utility lines were common. However, downhill and downstream from that severe widespread damage, the River's Edge subdivision, a master-planned community, had no flood damage. In the past, before changes to eminent domain and the MRA were made, Rio Rancho used the MRA to master plan infill projects and quality of life components such as paved roads, curbs and gutter, access to city water and sewer services, sidewalks, and street lighting that thousands of residents now enjoy. In Cabazon, the state's largest metropolitan redevelopment project, Approximately 1,300 irregularly shaped lots, platted more than 40 years ago without improvements or utilities, were combined. Today, Cabazon is nearly built out, with almost 3,000 homes, beautiful parks and trails, planned drainage, plus a public recreation center and a developer-funded wastewater reclamation facility. Another successful example of use of eminent domain and the MRA before changes took effect is the 440-acre Loma, Colorado master-planned community. The development of Loma, Colorado included construction of the Sportsplex Dam, a much-needed flood control measure for downstream residents in Rio Rancho and Corrales. The dam area provides recreational facilities in addition to flood control. Combined, the Cabazon and Loma, Colorado projects generated only 11 property owner challenges to the purchase and acquisition of their property. In each instance, the matter was resolved through mediation or negotiation. Today, with the current MRA law and eminent domain use restrictions, the Cabazon and Loma, Colorado developments would not be possible. The proposed eminent domain and MRA legislation changes that Rio Rancho is seeking would be applicable to Rio Rancho only and would restrict use to vacant, unimproved land only, and only for lots with obsolete or impractical platting. Land used for agriculture or dairy would be specifically excluded. The changes the city is seeking support the rights of landowners and the need for public safety, health, and welfare. They are critical for Rio Rancho's future because of the community's unique land ownership pattern, and so that all future development takes place in a manner that is in the best interest for the community as a whole. We urge you to be engaged in this discussion and communicate with elected officials. Your support is key to ensuring Rio Rancho's future.